Hello, everyone. This is a disclaimer coming up here on the show that you're about to hear. This would be what we call Black Forgiveness Part 2. And we really weren't planning on putting it up. But this last week has been, as we all know, the week that Thanksgiving holiday is a part of. And we haven't done anything at all. We have not recorded anything new. And we have not edited anything old. So in comes Black Forgiveness Part 2, which we have edited, and it is ready. It's a lot of arguing in it. But we just wanted to tell you that we really weren't planning on putting it up. But enjoy anyway, if you can.
I can't deal with what I cannot deal with what the media does. They own it, and they will give whatever slant they want. If they wanted to create a story without having one black person on camera saying forgive, then they can do that. But we have to have, there's certain standards that we got to have, and we don't have any. And the fucked up thing about an actual standard that no one wants to really admit is that it takes time, and you got to be persistent. And you got to not fold. And the really fucked up thing about having a standard is that standards don't care about how you feel.
Question.
Standards are just say, we don't do that.
Question. Are you aware that I did see later on from the 9/11 footage of the people coming back for the anniversary and, you know, the coming together of it? There were people who said that they forgive. There were people, but that was not the narrative. The narrative was all of the people who said that they did not. They get to be human. I know you shake your head,
because I don't care about what the media does when our people are the ones that are getting on camera saying it.
But what I'm saying is the same amount of people who are doing both things happened at that 9/11 event.
I agree.
As happened because people get to be human. After 9/11 happened, people didn't get up and say they were happy with it.
Of course not. They were pissed. They were being human.
Okay.
Because the people that were pissed do not accept the fact that anybody gets to determine what their humanity looks like in that moment. These people that look like me and you have accepted the fact that someone else gets to determine what being human looks like in a dire moment. And I'm saying that's the problem.
I get what you're saying.
That's the problem.
No, you don't get to do that because the media is the one that's setting forth the narrative.
So what?
What do you mean,
the narrative, when someone takes my mom, when she was at church praying, the narrative means nothing to me. If you see me, hold on. If you see me in a corner in a fetal position, which does not look manly at all, then you need to film that because that's human. If you see me tearing up shit in the street, that's let's human too.
Guess what? So they see you in a corner in a fetal position, and they say, and the narrative is because they need forgiveness. It's so clear. So the narrative is, oh, you know, this young man lost his mother, you know, in the church. And he's working through. He's working through his heartbreak and his, you know, wounded heart, if you will. But none of these narratives are going to encapsulate your anger at this person. It is only going to be about what you are working through for the benefit of this person that walked in the church. All I'm saying to you is you need to know. And this is where even the person that you mentioned before, Malcolm X, was very smart. And you had mentioned how smart he was about it because messaging is everything.
Yes.
Black people in dire situations do have to have a superhuman element of being able to see outside of themselves and be able to comport themselves in a way in very trying and dire times in order to get the messaging right.
Well, then what I would ask
so you can't just you can go and do that, but at that point you're still at the whim of whatever somebody is going to show you as at that night.
But does it really matter when you lost your mother? Does it matter what that newspaper's
We're not talking about this if they treat you like a human being. We're not even talking about it if that's the case. If I'm in a fetal position
in a corner and they want to say that I was praying, what do I care? I know I wasn't praying. I know I was in a fetal position because I lost my mother.
Guess what?
What do I care?
Guess what? Me and you, somebody else who could be sitting over there, we're talking about that. Oh, and there was a guy and he was rolling around in a fetal position and they were saying he was working through. You would be having this same conversation. My whole thing to you is, what makes you think that none of the things that you're talking about didn't happen? It's
let
just
me ask you
what you got to see on TV.
Let me ask
how you got it contextualized for you.
It wasn't until this very second I understand what you're saying now. However, that doesn't cover for the people that purposely got in front of the camera to say, I forgive. Everything that you just said is right. They can turn things around, and then I'll be pissed at the media because I can look at a picture and be like, he wasn't praying. That don't look right.
That's exactly what happened.
But that's for me to do, and I gotta decipher that in my own time. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about the 2 days after.
You saw an interview where they never said, I forgive you.
It doesn't matter. They showed up. And by showing up and looking your Sunday best to be on a Sunday show after your dad got killed praying, I'm not on no Sunday show. You don't get me like that. You don't get to have me days after my dad got killed doing what he thought was the right thing to do in his life. Because no one else, you don't get anyone else like that. You don't get no one else days after. Except for us. We're the only people you get days after. This dude got killed. He was I don't know if he was a deacon or something. He had a position. Like the church was his life. And my dad died going to a place that he dedicated his life to, a place that should be a safe place, and that's where he died. So you don't get to have me on this Sunday morning. You don't get to have me. No.
Twitter at DeadFreshCast and subscribe to iTunes.
Let me ask you a question. So this is what you feel that black people feel like they have to do.
Yes.
They have to be non-human in these moments. In
order to get any kind of messaging.
In these like small moments where everyone else is allowed to be human. Right?
Yes, these small, large moments.
What I would ask the people that feel that way, what I would ask the people that feel like saying forgive is the right thing to do a couple days later.
I didn't say that.
No, I'm not asking you. What I would ask these people is, where has that helped you? Where has that gotten us as a people? Because if you're going to be aware, if you're going to just not be human, then why wouldn't you think, how is this going to affect us? Because this was only because he was black. He got killed with 8 other people because he was black. So if you're going to have enough in your mind to say, oh my God, even though this is a real human time, I'm not going to be human. Cool. If you have enough strength to do that, why then don't you have enough strength to say, man, he got killed because he was black? So how is what I say in my interview or my non-interview going to affect other black people going down the line? And when you spit, I forgive instantly, dude ain't even ask for forgiveness. You heard me. So when you spit forgive instantly, why wouldn't you think, I might have put some other people, every church was scared that very next Sunday. Every black church was scared. Everyone.
So what I would say is that I dare say that people who subscribe to the particular thought that being able to rise out or go outside of yourself or rise above the moment, how does that help Black people? I would say that they would say it means that Black people are not seen as savage. Black people don't get to be treated, like we don't get to be, oh, look at them running wild and loose and this and the other, which I would imagine in some people's day happened. Actually happened. So I would take a gander to say that they're able to control the narrative enough that they're seen in a way, in the way that, how can I say it, that white people would say a Black person is human, which in the way that white people want to say Black people are human in these situations is to say they offer us forgiveness. They are not.
So again, that's letting them.
Hold on, stop.
That's letting them define what being human is, though.
Stop. But they're defining it anyway.
That doesn't mean you accept it.
You accepting it or not means nothing.
That's what that is.
Accepting it or not. This is
what a standard is, right? And it's a shame to say this, but we can learn a lot from Irish people who were treated really bad when they first got here. Mm-hmm. What we can learn from anybody at this point is that we have to have a standard. And that's the point I keep coming back to. The Irish people held a standard. The Italian people held a standard. Doesn't matter if they had the same background as us. We can learn having a standard from them because now they're not in that position. And there's a reason why. And I'm thinking forgiveness didn't come out of the Irish people's mouth when they were getting lynched and hung. It didn't come out of the Italians' mouth when they were getting lynched and hung. The standard, which is we don't talk to the people that are coming down on us. We don't talk. Yeah, that happened. Yeah, you're in power. Yeah, you did that. I'm not talking to you. We will deal with this in our own circle, in our own place. And it's tough, right? Because everyone wants their story out. Everyone wants the news to know how they feel. Everyone wants their camera. Everybody wants a camera in their face. It's tough to not talk. But I guarantee you, if we could ask some of those Italians from back in the day and some of those Irish people from back in the day, how hard was it not to scream from the mountaintops, I'm tired of this and I'm mad about this? They would tell me it was quite hard, but they didn't do it. And they for sure didn't talk to the news or the press of that day and just allow the press to just fuck over their words like that. It's called a standard. It's tough. It's not easy. But as long as we don't have one, you're going to keep seeing interviews like that you didn't like. It pissed you off. You didn't like the interview. You're going to keep seeing it.
Enjoy what you said. I even agree with what you said about the Italians and about the Irish. But I do not think that they have or had the same concern that we had. I think their concerns were their own. I don't know what you're saying. I think they were their own, whatever those were for them.
Okay.
But I think that they were not the same concerns. And I don't think the media needs from them what it needs from Black people. Because what I heard in that interview was a media needing something from Black people. I heard the media needing I'm going to continually bring up, even when you're deflecting and totally not even working with what I need you to say, I'm going to still bring it up to you. And you are in a crisis situation. You are hurting, but I need you to tote this line. So I'm going to keep bringing it up to you.
And I ask you again, why was he there?
What you're saying, why was any of them there?
Why were they there?
I get that. But I think that also has to do with our past. And it also has a need, maybe an unsupported need at this point, but a need for us to be seen as human, even though we can't even vocalize that. We can't vocalize it in any kind of way we would like to. But I still need you to know I'm a human being and that it happened to me. Like this happened to me. And I think them showing up was all the written message in that in that presence is that I'm here and I'm angry.
I don't think it was that.
I think it was that. Because why show up? Like you said, why show up?
I'm going to tell you why they showed up, and it's sad.
I don't agree with what you're about to say.
I know
Absolutely,
you don't.
I don't.
It's sad.
I do not agree.
It's sad. They showed up to say, I am human in the way that you like me to look human. That's why they showed up. That's why they looked the way they did. That's why they sat there all completely proper and all just like they all had taken something to calm them down and relax them. That's why that little chick with the painted on eyebrows spoke the way that she spoke. That's why everybody stood in position, like the way that they were told to sit, like they were taking a school picture. It is not, I'm here because I'm human and upset. It's, I'm here because I'm going to be human the way that you accept my humanity.
No.
And I say fuck that.
No.
Because
I think I totally disagree with you.
They were told where to sit, and they sat there. They were told how long they were going to get to speak, and they did. They only answered questions they were asked. They didn't get just free time. They didn't get this. They didn't get any free anything. I ask you a question, you answer. I ask you another question, you answer. Now you can be slick and answer it any way you want. At the end of it, this is my show, and I'm going to kick out the campaign I did. They came there looking the way they did, sitting there the way they did, saying this. Even though, and I'm not saying that they thought this in their head, but it's so much in us to do that, to say, I'm going to let your idea of humanity be shown. I'm not going to let my own idea of humanity, because my own idea of humanity is to say, fuck all y'all right now.
I think
right?
in that,
that's my own
I think
humanity.
in this interview, they let it be known.
To who? Did they let them be known to you? Because you don't believe a word of it.
Exactly.
The only thing that you believe is that black guy who's standing there.
The way that they fought back was to not answer the question.
That wasn't a fight.
That was a fight.
That shit wasn't a fight.
Because guess what? You have a lot of elements working here. First of all, these people weren't shot on the street. They were shot in a church, which automatically raises the discourse to another level. It raises it. It's not the same as the guy who gets shot on the street in New York over the Lucy's, because he's on the street. So she gets to be pedestrian. This happens in a church.
They get to be what they want.
So off top, the narrative, right, of humans are supposed to be, well, you were in a church in a place where you're supposed to be trying to be godlike, right? And
I got all of that.
So if you got all of that, then why?
Tell me why that means they have to be a certain way.
What I'm saying is that clearly they feel they have to be a certain way. If it were me, I might have showed. I might have showed up, but I might have said something like, "I'm really angry, and I'm not gonna do." It would have been more pointed toward, and I'm not gonna deal with this. As far as now, I can talk to you about what my anger is or what. You know what I'm saying? Like, it might be something like that. And who wants that interview? So I probably wouldn't even gotten
here's the thing.
And the reason why I would have showed up is because my story would be told by me. Not me, not anyone else. Not anyone else. No one gets to come out here and tell my story. I'm going to tell it.
But see, in the example earlier, you just gave the example that they can do what they want.
They do.
I'm over there in the fetal position, and they say I'm praying.
No,
so
but
what makes you think you get your story
you didn't
out?
say anything.
Do you think it matters?
So if
you think it matters?
Yes, I do.
They purposely.
If I'm showing up for a live interview, which is what that was, then I show up and I say to you, and which means again, either I didn't get to show up or
These
whatever.
people purposely did not say forgive, and he still said they said it. Does it matter that they got to talk?
But to me,
words that mean nothing.
Miles, that has to do with whether or not people want to pay attention to what actually happened and what people actually said. Yes, you have or do you want to focus on the one boy who came off right straight up and said, I forgive? Or do you want to focus on the myriad of audio that said, audio and video, when nobody says that? And they just say that they said that. What do we want to do?
Well,
are we gonna to me? You got to. This is where people have to pay attention to me.
This is you again being a thinking person and assuming that other people got that. They didn't. They got his last words.
I told you that most people listening to this did not get that.
So why'd they
go?
But
that doesn't mean that that's not what happened.
So what?
That's what I'm saying. And to me, that works toward what the media needs from you.
So here's the point I'm making.
Not what you need from the media.
Here's the point I'm making. First of all, I don't give a damn what the media does. It's not the media ain't my problem.
But do you understand what I'm saying to you?
You understand what I'm saying?
The fact is that what we saw, they never said any of the stuff that you think walking away that they might have said.
I got that.
They never said any of that. They never did. As a matter of fact, everybody's posture was awkward, and it led him to say a most awkward thing at the very end.
You're actually making my point.
There was other audio where you have a woman actually say she's angry, but yet and still, none of this actually gets out in the way that it's said. Nobody ever gives these people that moment of saying, he never looks at what's happening and says, or says, oh, well, maybe the community is, not at a time of forgiveness at this point.
You're making my point.
Nobody says any of that. No, I'm making my point, I'm making my point, which is black people are always working within what somebody else needs from them so that they can be seen as human. You need this from me, and you will do anything at all odds to try and make me do this. You will continually ask me stupid questions in the middle of a time when I'm grieving. You will do whatever.
But he was there. I can't fault the media for that. He was there. I keep going back to that. Why were you there? You keep going
back to that. But to me, what you're talking about is something that isn't happening. So what you need to do is work with what is happening and actually look at what they did, which is to me within the system and with what we have going on. No matter what made them show up, they did not do exactly what you thought, what you heard the media say they did. They didn't do any of that. They said nothing about that. That speaks more to the media's need for them to have said that than their actual need to have said that.
This is a chicken and an egg argument where
it's not a chicken and an egg argument. It's plain and clear.
It's one of those. It's a chicken and an egg argument where we know in this case it's the egg. It's the black people who get in front of the camera days after a tragedy. It doesn't matter if you say forgiveness. You knew what they were going to do to you. A man had to turn down what was burning inside of him. And for what? For fucking what? For NBC News?
We know that there is an event around this. It's not just what we saw that showed up on the TV.
I got that. Trust me, I know that.
Okay, well, if we know that,
that's not amazing. There's nothing amazing about that.
It's nothing. Nothing is amazing about anything of that. I'm saying.
Why'd you spend 5 minutes on it?
I spent 5 minutes on it because you have to contextualize what you saw, and you have to know that it just didn't happen.
Thank you. You don't have to replay it for me.
Okay, well then, if you know that, if you know that, then take in the whole of the situation and stop piecing it apart and saying just convenient things that you want to place in certain places. Stop doing that.
There wasn't anything.
Actually deal with the situation.
The only thing that happened in that clip, and you can find them if you want to look at what people had on when they were. You can look at the whole pan if you want to. All I saw was a man who was hurting, that turned his anger down, and for what? And that's what I want anyone to answer. What the fuck did he get? What did he gain?
I will let other people answer, because I've tried to help
It's the media. He didn't get paid. So what did he gain by getting on camera? And like you could see it in his person that he was holding down anger. And what man should have to do that? I am a man first. I'm an African American man second. What man should have to do that? And if a man does that, what's the cause? His religion, his spirituality? Is that the cause? I just want to know. I'm not making short of it. I'm saying if anyone sees that clip, because we're going to play.
And I really hope that people go, and we're going to post it on the DeadFreshcast.com.
We will post a link to this clip because it's all we're talking about. What would make a man? Again, I'm a man first.
And I really want comments on if anybody has it in their spirit, I really want comments on this, because for me, it is the most evident. It is the most evident piece of what I wouldn't even call that journalism, interview or is the most evident piece that shows the coded language black people work through.
It's an old Negro spiritual on TV. What is the black stereotype of my mom just got shot in the church? The fuck is that?
What do you mean?
If they're being the opposite of it. If they're being the opposite, then what is the stereotype?
I'm not going to show up unkept while I talk to you about this.
That's the stereotype of my mom just got shot in the church.
The first thing, for black people, I think in general, a stereotype is you're wild, emotional. And I think that we rail against that all the time, even down to the most simple messaging. I think we rail against it at all times, and we're self-aware of it. We're hypersensitive to it. You won't show me as being wild, unemotional, and absolutely unable to think. And put out you won't show me like that.
Which in this situation
you could totally do.
Then what the fuck?
But you won't see me like that, because when you see me like that, you dehumanize me. I don't win either way. I don't win. You dehumanize me if I'm actually human in a situation where I get to be human, and you don't make me human in a situation when I don't win.
But
I don't win.
Keep it in the context of our conversation.
No, I'm keeping it in the context, because that is how we deal with it.
If my people just died from a racist person,
Miles, that is how black people deal with it.
What do I care how the news sees me?
You deal with it like that.
Yes, I do.
But most people are aware.
So I'm somehow not aware? No, I'm aware and I don't care.
Well, you're aware and you don't care, but most people are aware and they do care.
In a situation where your person just died from a racist person, and you still have enough in you to care about how they view you. What is that about? Because you seem to be devil's advocate. I'm not devil's advocate. I've been 100% against this whole podcast.
I am describing what I see. This is not devil's advocate. This is me describing what I see. What I would do in a situation could be different, but it is describing what I see. And even in what I would do, Miles, it would not be crying. I would not be in a corner.